Hello, my loves. Today is going to be a good one. I've been waiting to deliver this for a while. We're going to talk about the connection between our relationships and our nervous systems. More specifically, I'm walking us through 8 signs of dysregulation in relationships. How do you know when you are way off base, when you're imbalanced? And what are the indicators that we are relating from inner balance, from a nourished nervous system, from the heart center? I really think that this is a big missing in the cultural conversation around nervous system regulation. And I'm so glad so many people are looking at the nervous system and the connection to trauma, and all of that needs to happen. There's a reason why it's on so many people's lips. But I think there's 2 things that are missing from really moving us more steadily towards healing. One is the connection between our dysregulatedness, our dysregulation, and the quality of our relationships. Like if you are in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, you want to escape, you're antagonistic, you're agitated, you want to bail, you're shut down, you're not aware of how you're feeling, you can't express how you feel. That's like no good for nobody. And here's the beauty of knowing that. Nervous system regulation is so doable. Simple steps that have to do with how you calm and ease and nourish your body and your mind and your spirit. And when you do that, you are way less triggerable. You are calmer. You are more receptive. You are more at ease. You're more fun to be with. You're going to be more attractive in so many ways. When things go south, you stay centered. And as a side note, I think the other absence in this conversation is the connection between our spiritual life, our soul literacy, and a balanced nervous system. This is why when so many people go through intense health crises, they're losing their marbles, we go through the dark night of the soul, intense challenges, we get on our knees, we get so intensely out of whack and dysregulated, we come to face our soul and we begin to build the bridge back to our higher self. And that matters just as much as your supplements and your fitness regime and cold plunging and a good night's sleep. But I digress, because today we're going to talk about relationships. What I'm about to offer is a teaching that I've given in my Nourish System program. This is one lesson out of probably 34, 40 individual lessons in 8 modules. So I deliver a different module every week. And then we've built in a support system where I'm staying in touch with people every month for a year. The feedback is already rolling in, and I'm so happy to report that the experience is relief, clarity, a sense of exhaling, that there is a system that is simple because simplicity puts the nervous system at ease. Simplicity has become my own spiritual practice. And when we can use systems that are simplified, that are connected to the quality of our relationships, and are all about honoring our higher self, the wisdom of our higher self, then balance. Then sleeping through the night. Then our tone and our connection and our speaking to ourselves and to others is one of loving kindness and clarity. Because the last few years, centuries, have been rocky, and our nervous systems are stretched beyond. Wild times, and in these wild times, we are normalizing abnormal conditions. And I think we are longing for normalcy that doesn't even exist anymore. And it's stressful. And so many of us are wrestling with waves of anxiety and panic attacks and brain fog and fatigue and poor sleep and really wobbly worthiness issues. And then the motivation just vanishes. And then we've got drama and disconnection in relationships that used to be healthy. Or we have even more drama in relationships that have always been dramatic. It just gets unbearable. And then we got malaise and we have despair, These are all symptoms of dysregulated nervous systems. Ongoing stress, unresolved trauma. It puts the body and the mind in a perpetual state of survival. And if anything has become clear as of late, it's that we need to commit to our well-being for real. It's not a luxury. It's not an afterthought. It's not the booster you put in your smoothie. It's not like just taking an extra vacation. It has to be a deep, unmitigated, non-negotiable commitment that we are going to do whatever it takes to be sane and to be well. I think nervous system regulation should be the number one priority for everybody, full stop. Whether your life is all together, and lots of us are really thriving and in forms of success in the midst of this chaos, and that's beautiful. And there are lots of us who are completely falling apart. For all of us, no matter where you are in that spectrum, regulation, balance should be numero uno, because a balanced nervous system, calm, collected, clear thinking, gives us all of the resources we need to meet the world scale challenges that make it into our everyday life, the physical and the psychological and the spiritual challenges, all of which need to be met with compassion and steady, unwavering, loving kindness. So for all that and more, you can head to daniellelaporte.com/nourish system. Check out the program that I hope fills the void, integrates all aspects of us, body, mind, and relationships, with a spiritual perspective on top of a very simple, flexible structure to move us towards small and sometimes slow, easy acts of healing every single day. Let's get into it. Let's get into relationship. All right, lesson 1. What are the relational signs of nervous system dysregulation? Let me define relational. Concerning the way in which two or more people or things are connected. So when we're out of balance, those two or more people or things get disconnected. Here's the relationship math. The container of energy that I am and the container of energy that you are makes up a greater container, and that container is called a relationship. So whether it's with parents or partners or an interaction with someone in a cafe, every relationship is a container of energy. We heal through relationships. We heal because of relationships. We need relationships in order to heal. I know they don't always feel healing. I know that many, many, many times, for many lifetimes, relationships can be quite damaging and traumatizing. But every single interaction container is an opportunity for us to get back to heart center and realize our true nature. We can't even heal alone. We are in relationship with the fragmented parts of ourselves. It's all about relating, the dance of energies. So let me say that in a different way. All relationships are vehicles for healing. Even if it seems to cause harm, every relationship is giving us a chance to learn how to restore ourselves to our true strength. Some of us may seem to be further along on this path of healing and awareness and consciousness. Some people seem to and do have more tools for coming into alignment, for connecting with their wisdom, for just calming down. Many of us have been practicing long time, different modalities and workshops and prayer practices and actual relationships, lifetimes of learning and refining our connection to our higher self. And what's the result of that? We're less reactive and we're more gentle. We are way less triggerable because we are more regulated. You can never actually know the machinations or the machinations, depending on how you want to pronounce that, of someone's inner landscape, of their karma, of their healing. We do not know why each other's soul has chosen particular lessons for us. So we got to just back off and be less judgmental, is what I'm trying to say, about how each of us shows up in relationship. So some of us are more naturally equipped to address deeper trauma and to get free. We should never, never judge someone else's way of walking through life. We do not know what they have been through in this incarnation. Even if we think we know, because we got the details, we don't know their inner experience. And we certainly don't know what has gone on before this incarnation. So we don't judge, except when we do. So when that judgment kicks in, it means that we've stopped including the other person in our compassion, in our intention to understand. So what do we do in those instances when we're all judgy about how hostile someone is, or their tone, or how uneducated, or their gross lack of basic communication skills? Did you not read that book on imago partnership? Yeah. We breathe. That's how we get back to center. That's how we tap life force itself. Hello. We intentionally choose a more heart-centered way. We show up, we hold space. We love them more willingly. We are more conscientious about including all of people's stuff. We include their mess in the container of the relationship. We don't ask them to leave their mess at the door before they come in to relate to us. That's impossible. Everybody bringing their mess wherever they go, most likely unconsciously. That's the problem. We accept more openly. We let people know that we see certain things and we're accepting of them. We let them know through invitation. I'm so curious about who you are. I want to know about your history. I want to know what your longings are, your desires are. I want to know about your woundedness. I'm here for it. All of which to say, we walk the path together. We hold hands and we keep going. Let me give you a beautiful quote from Thomas Hubel. He's one of my favorite contemporary thinkers right now. He wrote an excellent book called Attuned, Practicing Interdependence to Heal Our Trauma and Our World. Thomas writes, with attuned relationships, the traumatized nervous system gains the ability to recalibrate itself. The body feels safe in this environment. And this type of relating is committed, warm, and generous. It allows the body to gradually metabolize experiences and integrate the trauma into new learning. There's so much packed in this. I want to give it to you again, but with, the Danielle breakdown. With attuned relationships. So not disorganized, misaligned, completely transactional, ego-centered. With attuned relationships, two people or a group of people who are there intending to sense each other truly, to know each other, and to be of service. We show up with the intention of goodwill in all of our relationship containers. With attuned relationships, the traumatized nervous system. So let me just presence here for us. The nervous system is how we relate to the world. Everything we experience and process is happening through that internal internet system that we call the nervous system. And for most of us, we have some level, degree, accumulation of trauma embedded in our nervous system. And that's why we're here together in this conversation, in this space, to dissolve, integrate, come into balance with that trauma. With attuned relationships, the traumatized nervous system gains the ability to recalibrate itself. The healing capacity is inherent. It's always there. We are removing obstacles to our inner organization. The body feels safe in this environment. Love makes all bodies relax. And this type of relating, I'm back to Thomas Hubel's words, of course. This type of relating is committed. You're not going to bail. You're showing up. It's warm and it's generous. So the warmth in this description, committed, warm, and generous, brings me back to a core Buddhist teaching, which is our true nature is warm, friendly, and luminous. Thomas goes on to say, it allows the body to gradually, because slow, simple, steady is healing, to gradually metabolize experiences and integrate the trauma into new learning. So the tough stuff is the compost of our paradise. All right, let me get back into stress. Stress, growth, and the body. So let me ask you an obvious question, obvious at this point. What's the most reliable trigger of a stress response? Like, how are you guaranteed to get triggered? Just be in a relationship. It's always the way, because somebody gonna know your buttons, somebody gonna not know your buttons. Your buttons are gonna get pushed in relationship. And of course, this also includes how we relate to ourselves, to our communities, how we relate to concepts that we hold about specific people and groups and cultures. It's all relationships. And when we go through really stressful, intense stages of relationship growth, when there's like evolution, when there's transformation, then it's possible, and by possible, I mean it's highly likely, that we're going to go into our default stress reactions, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, as a way of coping, as a way of trying to keep up with the rapid growth or the intense growth. I think these stress reactions are happening on a global scale right now, meaning those stress reactions are happening for so many people that it's really part of the collective taste. Our close personal relationships are evolving. They have to evolve. That's what we're here for. And how we relate to our worldwide community is also evolving. Most of us are aware of this pressurized sensation to transform. Lots of us are not aware of the pressure at all. We're just dense and we're really part of the problem. It is an inevitability. I find great relief in owning that it's inevitable that in every relationship, we're going to box with each other's shadows. And that's the friction of energies that's hanging out in the subconscious self, in the unconscious self. So the stuff in the basement of your psyche is going to start reacting to the stuff in the basement of my psyche. What's happening is we have unresolved issues bumping up against each other's unresolved issues. And the experience of that is stress. Stresses us out psychologically in our mind. That leads to a stressed body, and that leads to nervous system dysregulation. Let me give you a teaching now from VS, my co-creator in the nourished system. We also co-create all of our meditations and visualizations and work on a lot of the metaphysical content of the Heart-Centered membership program. She teaches, an overworked, fatigued nervous system may tend to fight-flight mode of coping or lead to the freeze shutdown state to help one cope with the barrage of incoming forces from the residual shadow energies of the subconscious. It's helpful to recognize that there is no my subconscious versus your subconscious, And it's best not to personalize shadow. There is simply shadow, and the varying archetypes, the blueprints of unresolved energies that circulate through the human kingdom for endless lengths of time until we are willing to see what's holding us back. And then we need to have the subsequent willingness to look at what's unresolved. And through the light of awareness, claim it, own it, and hold the unresolved residue in divine understanding, which leads to homeostasis or wholeness, also known as healing. So it might go like this. You will say, oh, hello, pain. Hi, agitation. Hi, defensiveness and hurt. I see. I see where I'm holding on now. And I see how I can learn to relax. I see you, pain. I see I'm gripping you. And now I see I can learn to relax. That's an enlightened dialogue. And it's from there that we get to find and use new tools and come back into balance. We're human. We are human. We are human. So there is no reason to shame our reactions ever. Every rumble and all the reactivity coming from within up to the surface. Sometimes, we're blurting it out. Sometimes it's rage. Sometimes we're just like soupy emotional messes. All that stuff is our opportunity. It's our opportunity to see what's going on underneath the surface in the continuum of our mind and our body. Imbalance brings us into more balance, right? But it's a double win, because when we go from an imbalanced state into a more balanced state, that new state of balance is more lasting. It's like real change. It's really a brilliant cycle of raising our consciousness. So how does your nervous system affect your relationships? How does your nervous system affect your relationships? In every way possibly possible. When we're overly stressed, when we're under-resourced, when we're dysregulated, anybody, that's most of us at some time, maybe a lot of us all the time right now, then we are most definitely going to experience relational symptoms of dysregulation. In addition to, this is the extra bonus, in addition to physical symptoms of nervous system dysregulation. So let me ask, who's done some of the following bad behaviors? And I will give you a spoiler alert. Most of us have done these things. Name calling, slamming doors. Anybody door slammer? I'm leaving. Firing someone abruptly, and all the ways that we justify that. Or the flip of that coin, quitting just as quickly, and all the ways that we justify it. They didn't see me. It's not an inclusive workplace. All the things. Do I have any pillow beaters in the house? Anybody thrown any dishes ever? That used to be a family specialty in my household. Anybody do a hard bail on the date night, romantic or just with friends, just like not going when you said you would go? When someone made reservations? I don't know. I'm just bringing this up. I've heard people do this. The silent treatment. It's not my specialty at all. All of those behaviors, not so great behaviors, which we're not going to judge. Compassion. All those behaviors are just riding on top of emotions that have not been addressed. Bad behaviors in the back seat of the pain bus. We just need to wake up and see, wow, we're on the struggle bus. And when you're on the struggle bus, you just act out all the time. You get a little emotionally sloppy. Those stuffed down emotions, all that negative stuff, gets tangled up with all of the other factors of life, war in the Middle East, and so much polarization and division and toxic drinking water, and unresolved social justice issues with our daily in the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the boardroom, in the classroom issues. And we just get worn down. Our nervous systems start to get really strained. When we see that, when we can just like put the pieces together, that our nervous system states influence our interactions. I mean, this is really the whole teaching. This is everything I'm on about in terms of nervous system regulation and how it affects the relationships, family and partners and friends and cultures. When we see that connection of our relationships to our nervous system health, then I think we will take a very different approach to taking care of ourselves. When we make the connection between a fried nervous system and fragile, aggravated relationships on the edge, bickering, unresolved issues, then something beautiful is going to happen with that awareness. We are going to, I hope, take a slightly more urgent and slightly more, maybe vastly more spiritual approach to taking care of ourselves. Urgent, heart-centered. And then that's when we move out of the friction and into the freedom. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be harmonious, but it means that we will be way less triggerable when they are not harmonious. Because here's the thing, when there is an energy backlog, an emotional constipation, congestion, let me give you some other words, disorganization, when there's energetic and emotional debilitation, clogged emotional arteries, then our nervous systems are going to be really yearning, sometimes screaming for help. So take a deep breath in and exhale. And this is what I want us to get. That a nervous system that's nourished because you love yourself, that's regulated, that's healthy because you are a healer. That kind of nervous system can roll with all kinds of experiences, with all sorts of different people. You can be flexible. You can be tolerant. You will be spacious. You will be way less triggerable and much more loving. I want to offer you 8 signs of dysregulation in relationships and 8 signs that we're relating from inner balance. Here's a beautiful teaching from Eckhart Tolle. When you realize it's not personal, there is no longer the compulsion to act as if it were. Okay. 8 signs of dysregulation in relationships. Number 1, withdrawing from social settings. Don't want to go. Number 2, you have difficulty trusting other people, trusting your own family members, people you work with, the guy in the cafe, trusting authority. Although I think we should always have an inbuilt, maybe not distrust, but questioning of all people in authority. But that's just my stuff. Let's get back to you. Number 3, when we're dysregulated, we might experience overwhelm in groups. So that could be anything from feeling overwhelmed and anxious and agitated at a concert, at a community gathering, when strangers are around in the park, or it could be in places that we've already predetermined to be safe. Group therapy, AA meetings, somehow, even if we've chosen to be there and we know everybody who's present, we still feel overwhelmed. That leads us into number 4 in terms of dysregulation signs. We distrust groups. And by distrust groups, I mean we give knee-jerk, default, blanket reactions and judgments to different groups of people, cultural groups, religious groups, cohorts in our membership programs, people in breakout sessions in our workplace. If there is a cluster of humans and we are dysregulated, we may move into just not trusting any of them. Fifth sign of dysregulation in relationships: a heightened sensitivity to criticism. Like everything stings. You just take every single thing personally, even if it's from a stranger, someone on the internet that you're comparing yourself to. You're not quite what they are. Ooh, it just all hurts, turns into a mind loop. Can't process that. Can't see the helpful truth in critique. It's just all criticism and ouch. Number 6, difficulty tapping into our emotions. This is a double whammy because when we aren't aware of how we're feeling, which is to say, we're not aware of what's going on in our unconscious self, then we are going to have difficulty expressing our feelings. Like if you don't know if you're sad, how are you going to tell the person you're with that you're sad and therefore this is what you need to do tonight or this weekend? Okay, when we're dysregulated within relationships, we will have an inability to connect emotionally with others. We won't be able to express our sadness, our happiness, our pleasure, our displeasure. And just as sadly, we won't be able to accurately or with any flow or grace really respond to the emotions of somebody else. We will miss the cues that they feel rejected, that they're angry, that they're in longing. Which leads into our 8th point in the 8 signs of dysregulation in relationships: an incapacity to understand nonverbal cues. An incapacity to understand nonverbal cues. When we are dysregulated, when you're in fight mode or you're in flight mode and you just want to escape and get out of there, when you are in freeze or shutdown mode, you are not thinking clearly. Your mind is in survival mode. That is the inborn coping mechanism, right? Like, I'm going to fight to stay alive. I'm going to get out of here to stay alive, or I'm just going to shut down and be really still to stay alive. Great instincts if you're being attacked. The fact of the matter is, on the day-to-day, most of the time in relationships, we're not being attacked. We just act like we are. So when we're all jacked up on adrenaline and cortisol, when we all fuzzy, when we just want to bail, when we are just stiff, shut down, non-emotional, we are not going to be able to take the cues of others clearly. It's like we're wearing a ski suit, or we just turn the volume down, way, way down on our perceptivity. And we are going to miss what life and the people we love the most and the people we need to protect ourselves from are actually communicating to us in nonverbal ways. All right, take a deep breath in. And then exhale for longer than you inhaled. And let's shift into some higher vibration, some awareness, heart-centeredness, expansion. I've got 8 signs that we are relating from inner balance. This is our birthright. This is our capacity. Lots of us do it lots of the time. May all of us do it more of the time. Number 1, how do you know you are balanced? We follow our natural inclinations for the good stuff. We follow our natural inclination for connection. We're happy to receive invites. We're actually curious to engage with other humans. Natural inclination, connection, happy about the invite, curious to connect. Number 2, we trust the innate goodness of others. We know that most people are really, really good. We trust the innate goodness of others, and we trust that we're going to learn, and we're going to heal, and we're going to cleanse. Really, most healing is about cleansing. As a function of all of our relationships, like, hello, I trust you. I trust that you're good. And as a result of this trust and your innate goodness, I know I'm going to learn from you. I know I'm going to cleanse some stuff, clean up my stuff. I know that healing is available in this container called a relationship. Third sign that we are relating to other people from a place of balance. We do good in groups. In a group, we're balanced, we're centered, our body is calm, our thoughts are clear. We feel glad that we're there. You belong there. You're interested. You have something to offer. Groups of people are good. Number 4, we see the commonality in groups and we feel ease because of that. So we connect with everybody who's around us. And knowing that we're connected, knowing that we all come from the same source, knowing that we're all bozos on the same bus, it actually puts us at ease, doesn't throw us off. Happy to be together. Or at the very least, we honor the utility of being together. Number 5, we don't take shit personally. We are able to discern, we can see it clearly, and we can process it, we can think it through when we get input from other people. And when we get that input, part of processing it is we don't judge them too harshly for their input, because sometimes it's not on, right? It's off. Misperceptions that other people lay on us, projections. We don't judge them harshly. We can judge them a little bit, but we don't judge them too harshly for projecting their stuff onto us. And we don't judge ourselves harshly. We don't judge ourselves for judging them a little bit. We don't judge ourselves because of what they've said to us. We don't run to the bank with their critique. We can discern. We can process. We do not over personalize what everybody has to say to us. Okay, let me go back to one of the points of dysregulation being we have difficulty tapping into our emotions. And when we can't tap into them, we have subsequent difficulty of expressing our feelings and emotions. So what's the opposite of that? What's the healing expression of that? It's that we're aware of what we're feeling. We're aware of the emotions as they're surfacing from our unconscious self to our consciousness. Oh, this is starting to stir in me. I feel what I'm feeling is rejection. What I'm feeling is sadness. Ooh, this is happiness. This is ease. This is relaxation. This is gratitude. Okay. So it's coming up. We're aware of it. We can name it. And then we can actually express it. We can write about it. We can move it through our body. We can cry it out. We can speak it out. We can tell someone how we're actually feeling. And here's the double win. We can do all of this. We can feel it and we can express it with compassion. Compassion for ourselves and compassion for the other person. Because remember, this is all about relating from inner balance or relating from a dysregulated place. So we're aware of the feeling. We can name the feeling. We can express the feeling. And we're not judging ourselves for feeling it. Ooh, I'm feeling rage. Okay. So much compassion that I'm feeling rage right now. Ooh, that is some rage I am seeing from you. I have compassion for that. Awareness always creates space for a compassionate response. And by awareness, I mean love. Indicator number 7, that you are relating to other people from your heart, from a balanced place, regulated. You're at ease with emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy with everybody. It's one of my favorite things. Emotional intimacy is vulnerability from you, expressed from them. It's a depth of honesty in connecting. Don't you love that? It's a willingness to truly witness somebody else, and not just witness them, but to embrace somebody else's experience and perspective. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it, by the way. Holding space, witnessing and embracing does not connote agreeing. I could witness, I could embrace, have space for your anger, for your politics, for your judgments, because I have compassion, because I love you, because I want you to have a safe place to express, because I used to experience those things myself, because I'm curious, because I haven't experienced those emotions before and I have no idea, and you are showing me what it's like, because I want to unfold, because I'm just committed to holding your hand on this path, whether you are my employee or my lover or my neighbor or my leader or my student. I'm going to walk this path of healing and evolving and becoming more conscious together. So I got space for your stuff. All right, let's cross the finish line with the 8th indicator that we are relating from inner balance. We got it going on. We're being great in relationship. Number 8, we're aware of the energies that are being communicated. So think in terms of body language and tone, energy vibration, the energy in the room, the energy pounding off of or radiating off of a person. Your body language, your tone, your vibe, their body language and tone and vibe. You're aware of it and you're present to it. You're not running away from it. You can see all the layers in what you're trying to communicate to others. And you can see behind the veils of what other people are trying to communicate to you. That kind of awareness and acuity and sensitivity and power only comes from the heart center, from the heart chakra, from love. Love is the greatest, most powerful and immediate regulator of one's nervous system. When we think with love, when we hold our bodies with love, when our tone is that of loving kindness, we are balanced. The brain fog dissipates. Our heart rate regulates. We breathe easy. We move into grace. And it's way more fun and effective and fulfilling when we are manifesting from a place of grace, because we will attract more grace, more ease, more abundance, as opposed to when we're in a state of imbalance, of dysregulation, of fighting, of wanting to escape, of just shutting down. What are we going to magnetize to ourselves? Chaos, confusion, lack of alignment. When we're in those states, we're shutting down the portals where the good stuff gets in. Love regulates. And on behalf of our relationships, because we want that love to flow like an infinity loop, we commit to nourishing our nervous systems. We get really dedicated to inner balance. We heal so that we can be more loving. I have created a love note for you. You know, I have this whole collection on my site, free, downloadable, beautifully designed prayers, poems, bullet points. The love note for this week is the 8 signs that we're relating from inner balance. You head to daniellelaporte.com/love notes. If you're interested in getting the Nourished System program, what's in store for you just with respect to relationships is an exercise called Your Relationships and Your Nervous System, where you're looking at your default stress reactions, fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And then you're going to analyze how your reactivity shows up in different types of relationships that you have. You know, what you're really doing is you're identifying and acknowledging the relationship patterns that aren't working anymore. Then I walk you through exercises that help you to see what a more regulated, balanced response would be with the people that you're relating to in an off-kilter way. And then we go into this whole section around the power of radical self-responsibility. The next lesson about relationships in the nourished system is around collective tenderness and gratitude. And then I've built in the relationship releasing visualization. It's a really powerful exercise where you identify a particular pattern in a relationship that you want to keep, or you identify an entire relationship that needs to be blessed and released once and for all. It's really simple. And really, the relationship releasing visualization is a reminder that you're not the wound, you're the healer. And with that, I'll let you know that I will be here on the regular, episodes dropping every Wednesday with love, Danielle. Thank you so much for listening, for feeling, for spreading the word. With love.